Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be looking at Ian's Philips CD304 compact disc player. Right, here we are, Philips CD304 compact disc player, laser tracking. Well, I'd hate to see them try and do it any other way. The marketing department in the 80s, they just hooked onto anything. Full remote control. We don't have the remote control, but there we are. Full digital sound processing. Again, like to see you try and decode it with analog. Motor powered loading. Excellent. Don't know what's wrong with it. I've got it hooked up to the little workshop SMSL amplifier. I have a CD. I can't find my test CD. So unfortunately, all I've got is a copy of Faithless in the workshop, which will be fine, but will instantly get me a copyright kerfuffle. So what we'll have to do is mute the music out, I should think. There we go. Let's plug it in, power it on. The fluorescent display has lit up. You see that there, with very little, and yes, things are not well, are they? Disc A error. Possibly because there's no disc in it. And it don't want to open. Oh. We had action there. Oh, go on. Hey. Look at that. Right. Okay. So got a very sluggish tray motor for a start. Nope. Okay, go on. Have another go. Well, it's read the table of contents and come up with the track listing, which you can't see on the display now because I've got it level. So let's hit play. Yeah, well, that's playing. Fabulous. Okay, so it looks like our problem is with the sled. And looking at the speed that's going in and out at, yeah, it's really bad. Okay, it's probably just a tray belt. Let's disassemble it and have a look. So let's just tug the plug. And as usual with Philips of this sort of era, they didn't want you getting in there, so they thought they'd put Torx screws in to thwart everybody. So, of course, everybody just went out and bought a Torx bit set. There we go. Right, there we go. That's 4 screws out and the lid is off. Oh dear. Okay. Right. That looks to me like the CD104 PCB, which is known for suffering with the dreaded griplets. Is it the same thing though? Now, a griplet is where the PCB was double-sided. As you can see, there's a very substantial ground plane here, and a griplet was a sort of small metal eyelet that ran from one side of the PCB to the other. Had that sort of look about it. I'm hoping this isn't the same because it's not a lot of work, but you have to take each griplet out, or if you don't want to take them out, you can just run a wire link through the griplet and onto the connections either side. And actually, I don't think it is. There has been some soldering work on that bit there. I may just lift that out to check, but first things first, let's have a little look at this tray mechanism and see if it's a simple job as just a belt. So, can't even see where the motor is at the moment. Yes, I can. Oh. It's right in there. And the belt looks to me like it's blue. Why would it be blue? Has somebody just swapped it over with an elastic band? It looks very oversized as well. I'm just going to ping that with my pair of pliers and see what it's made of. Do you know what? It's not rotten. it's not that elastic, it just looks a bit oversized. And now the unit appears to be loading correctly. I wonder if it's just a bit seized up. I wonder if we clean these rails up and a gentle bit of re-lubrication would help. It's making good noises too. As you sort of progress in repairing CD players, you sort of understand how they should behave. So if it plays quickly and it also searches between tracks very quickly, you can normally tell that they're in pretty good health with the laser pickup. And this is making very encouraging noises. It's searching between tracks very quickly. So yeah, I'm pleased with the optics. It's just I think this sled just needs to come apart and a little bit of re-greasing and we'll be somewhere near fixed. You can see that. Oh, the grease is absolutely stuck up. It's gone sticky and horrible rather than lubricating and lovely. So we've got a sort of nylon pulley there. We've got one there. Yeah, we've got one on the side here. Can you see that on that camera? I think you can. That drops the top of the sled down into the reading position onto the laser itself. The laser is a type that swings on an arm rather than runs back and forward on a worm gear. So it'll actually be driven like a meter movement with a coil and a magnet. Brilliant design and indicative of these early players. Output level control. Now, also on these players, this power supply heatsink at the rear here, these regulators can become horribly dry jointed. So I wouldn't mind taking the base plate off and just checking those are good as well, so it carries on giving some sterling service after we've cleaned and lubricated this mechanism. It seems to be freeing up though. Look at that. It does, however, need cleaning and re-greasing because it won't be reliable like that. Okay, let's set about that. Right, this is the area where we're focusing on, where this sled runs back. So we've got a runner there. We've got one here, one in here. Now I can see lots of this dried grease on here, so we want to clean that all up. I have got a trusty Q-tip. I have got a little pot of IPA here, and we just want to get in there and clean all that up. So yep, take it all off. And as you can see, some of it's quite dirty and sticky and very unpleasant, and all the muck and dirt over the years has sort of accumulated in these runners here and is preventing smooth motion. Look at that. Ooh, we're going to need some more of those. I shall fetch the pot. There. So there's lots of accumulated muck and nasties in here. Let's get it all out. What I might actually do is just plug it in a second and sort of run it halfway out so I can sort of get more around the pulleys. It's all just very dirty and sticky and horrible. I reckon that that belt's been done before, you know, hence it's an odd colour, because the original Philips belt was almost certainly black. On Philips belts, they do have a habit of turning into a nasty sticky mess. If you follow the website, you'll know that, because we've done many of them. Yeah, you can just let's get all this cleaned up, free all these mechanical parts off. I'm trying to get away with a minimum amount of disassembly here. I don't think there's any need to go mad with it. Right, let's just plug that in, get it halfway, pop out halfway, and then clean that end stop up. Open, close. That'll do. Another cotton wool bud. Oh, it's really sticky on this top one. So the problem is the solvents. I presume it's the solvents. I'm no expert on lubrication, but as they become sort of dried out, I think that's the grease sort of dries out. It obviously loses its lubricating properties. Or does it just sort of get soaked up with the dust and contamination? I don't know really. If you know, leave a comment below. I'd love to really sort of. I know why stuff fails, but or what causes, not even what causes the failure. What does cause the failure? Is it the drying out, loss of the solvents in the grease, or is it just contamination with dry stuff like the dust? I mean, you see, there's quite a bit of dust got this way. Right. So, is there any other place where there is a slide? There's got to be one on the other side, surely. Ah, no, it's the rack underneath. It's actually supporting that, and it's driven by the gear over here. The gear over here. Pertner didn't know it. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to use the Super Lube. A friend of mine put me onto this. It's really good stuff. It's a dielectric grease. It's food grade, so we can eat it. It's clean, apparently. Well, that's good. We wouldn't want to be putting horrible stuff in there. With Syncolon, registered trademark, PTFE. So it's a PTFE multi-purpose synthetic grease, Super Lube. Who makes that? Oh, it's American, look. Probably automotive, industrial, marine, recreational, sporting, household, and Philips CD players, it says on the back. I lie, it doesn't say that. Compatible with most other lubricants, outlasts conventional greases 3 to 4 times. There you go. Impervious to salt water and road salt. I don't recommend putting salt water on your Philips CD player. Right, so we need a method of getting that into the mechanism. The method I choose is a little brush. So I'm just going to put a bit on my brush. Comes it's reasonably solid stuff, but it's not very. And we're just going to paint a bit along the track. Like that, a bit more. Keeping it sort of away from where it doesn't want to be, because it will pick up dust and muck. It's inevitable, you know. I think if you're in the UK, you can buy this stuff from RS. No affiliation between me and RS other than a long-time customer. And I know people keep telling me, oh, they're so expensive. Actually, in the grand scheme of things, they're not. I get free postage. One thing I ought to point out if you're doing this lot down here is the main switch. So pull the plug out the wall. I have done. Yeah, right. I'm just going to spin it upside down, and we're going to clean that rack that's under here. There's a rack and pinion sort of arrangement, and we're going to re-grease that as well. So let's do that. Right, that's the player upside down. You can see the rack here. It's actually looking very clean, but I will give it a birthday. I will also clean the optics And I'll have a little word about cleaning optics, and something that I see often on forums and other places, and a tip I was given many years ago as a very young engineer. Now, a lot of places I say, oh, clean your lens of your laser on your CD player, on your DVD player, with some IPA. Now, I once worked in a place where if you did that, I think you'd catch hell. For the simple reason was, we were told that it is entirely possible for the IPA to attack, there's like a bluish coating on the lens, and it can take that and remove it, and thus reduce the sort of functioning of the laser. It's a sort of anti-reflective coating, I think, which stops internal reflections in the laser. It can reduce the efficiency of the laser and give you problems setting up the eye height. And I seem to remember it was a certain four-lettered brand beginning with S, ending in Y, and they sent out a technical bulletin to that effect. And I've had plenty of rows with people over the years where they've said, I've been doing this for years, it's caused no harm. Yeah, okay. But, you know, all you're doing is removing the dust from the lens and stuff like that. There's some grease stuck down in here on this pivot point. I'm just cleaning that off, and we'll get a bit of super lube in there as well. What does that actually do? Oh, that's on the actual gear at one end and on the sled at the other. Okay. Right, sorry. Anyway, yeah, you're only trying to remove a bit of dust or detritus from the lens. You're not like having to dissolve anything like we are here with this grease. So, yeah, why would you need to use anything more than what I used to use when I was doing this for a living? Was I used to use a bit of Winderley. The green, no, it wasn't, it was Mr. Muscles, that was it, Mr. Muscles window cleaner. Let's just make sure that's dry. Yep. And that used to work beautifully. Left a, you know, it's quite a soft detergent. And another guy used to know, he said, no, just breathe on it. You don't need any IPA, just a quick breathe on it. And then, yeah, you're done. I think that's a very fine idea. Just breathe on it, wipe it over with a bit of something soft. One thing I do, because these days I've got photographic equipment and cameras and things for the website and this video as well. I've got a lens cleaning pen, like a carbon fibre dust removal brush. Well, that's ideal. It's designed to clean lenses. So I'm going to use that. Not only that, but it's quite a useful form factor. Right, that's the rack re-greased. Put some grease on those pivot points down there. 1 and 2. Let's see what that performs like. Okay. Right. Plug in. Power up. Let's go back and forward a few times just to distribute the new lubrication about the place. Very smooth. Yeah, really quite pleased with that now. So next thing, let's flip it back over onto the other side and just check those regulators over here for dry joints. Ooh, dust. Right. Okay, we can see the regulators on the PCB at the rear here. Everything looks good in here. Ah, that's an interesting thing. Just like the CD104. Ah, it did have griplets. And I'll just zoom in there. So the CD304, I thought it looked familiar. It did have griplets. And you can see here, somebody has put wire links through. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that. Give me one moment to adjust the camera. Yeah, just to the side of the frame, you can see these are through holes in the PCB, and somebody's put a piece of wire in, bent it over and soldered it up. There and there. Here is that one in shot, just about. There's a few on there. Other things to note, just like the CD104, this is a coil with 2 reed relays in it. One is for mute and one is for that old baller equalization curve that I don't think ever got used, but is in the standard somewhere. So there we are. Also, same as the 104, we have this wonderful swing arm optical assembly. Works like a meter movement. Isn't that fabulous? Just wonderful. Right, let's have a quick look at these regulators. To be honest, I think I'm in a mind where I'm just going to switch the soldering iron on and go over them anyway, because they are problematic. They are a known weak spot. Capacitors are starting to become an issue in some of these as well. I've got a CD104 that's my player personally that is starting to give a number of issues, probably capacitor related. Therefore, it stays in the round to it pile at the moment. They do actually look very good, but we're here. Let's just solder those up just to prevent any further issues. Right. Probably got an elegant shot of my head as usual. See what? I'm glad I did that, because that, as soon as I touched it with the iron, that joint just disintegrated. So it wasn't long for this world. One of the reasons this thing is so damn heavy, by the way, is this sort of chassis. It's extremely robust. Quick close examination under the under my seeing eyes. All looks in very good condition, to be honest. Excellent news. Right, all that remains to do is just give that lens a quick clean. That might be a bit of a job, actually. Right, I'm actually lucky enough to just be able to see the lens down through the top here. You can see that in the top camera, but if you get a cotton wool bud, and he's just moistened up just with some wet, just some water, some pure water I use for cleaning the records with, and we can just rotate that on the lens there. Don't put any pressure on it whatsoever. Get it out. It's not what I wanted to do. I'd rather have been able to get at it, but to actually get at the lens, we've got to remove the whole chassis assembly, whereas that should work perfectly well enough. And in fact, just looking down there at the lens through the top of the thing here, I can see it's got that nice shiny blue sheen back that it sort of lost. It looked a bit dull, so hopefully it'll work better. Also, my good neighbour Steve, hello Steve, has given me a CDR which I've written some test tracks to avoid copyright problems. The biggest issue I've got with a CDR on this player was developed before the CDR certainly was commercially available, so it's not really designed to play that. It's read the table of contents. It tells me I've got 5 tracks, 26 minutes. I expect it to skip a little. I don't know, seems perfect to me. There we go. So yeah, it's performing very well indeed. There's just some test tones on here. Yeah, you can hear that. It's just skipping very slightly. I'm not surprised. So yeah, there's a white noise track. And then of course, the Sunday Club. There we go. Thanks for watching, and come back very soon for some more repair work here at Doz's Television Workshop. Thanks for watching.